What's going on, everybody? The original Mako back, and I figured it was about time I made some content on this game because I have been downright addicted to it. I haven't been able to stop playing it, so I figured it was time to make some content. And the first bit of content I'm going to make, there will be plenty more to come, I'm sure, but the first bit is my favorite and what I think is a very effective PvP build. It also works super well for PvE as well, but I've just found that it can very easily hit like a truck. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am not at max gear score. I'm at 66, so I'm pretty up there. But this is something that's carried me from about 40 all the way to where I am now. As soon as you can start really speccing into certain things, this can really come online and come into play. But I'll talk about it, go over it, see if it's something you want to use. And if you're a higher gear score, maybe it's something you can cater to the higher gear. Maybe there's some better amulets that work for this, whatever it is. So regardless, I just want to talk about it and go over it with you guys. So hopefully you enjoy it. But before we get into it, be sure you check the links down below. As always, if you want to see me playing this game live on Twitch, check out that Twitch link right now. I might be live. Who knows? Come hang out, have a good time. We have a lot of fun over there, and there's a lot of really cool people to talk to. So check out that Twitch link down below. And make sure you hit that subscribe button because there's going to be plenty more V-Rising content, as well as all the other normal stuff I've been playing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into it and talk about some stuff. I'm going to use this camera angle, even though it's kind of blocking some stuff because the other camera angle overlay is not in a good place. So it's fine. So let me talk about the abilities first. So first and foremost, abilities is the most important part. This is the setup for me. Well, I guess actually let's talk about the gear really quick because that's slightly less important, but I've decided to fully spec into my spell power. I'm not worried about my physical power, my weapon abilities, or anything. I have gone all in on damage with my spells. So I have plus 22 spell power and plus 25% critical strike damage on my spells. I've gone with the Amethyst Pendant. Once again, there might be higher level pendants that do better things here, but I have gone for the Amethyst Pendant. Now, my spell crit chance is only 5%, whereas, physical we have a much, much higher because of, I actually don't know why it's so high. Why is our physical so... regardless, we only have a 5% chance, but our crit damage is at 175%, and our spell power is pretty crazy. I think it's just because of this spear that I'm holding, honestly. Let's see if I switch. Whoops. Okay, so it absolutely is just the spear. Regardless, the spell power is unbelievable, and because of that, I have decided to go for a very, very single target approach type of build. So we're going to be able to do a lot of damage to one target at a time. Pick and choose, who you want to take out first. If you're in a PvP fight, I'll give you an example. You might be thinking, well, a lot of times I'm getting hit by 2-3 people. This build can hold its own in a 1v2, a 1v3. I'll show you guys a clip of me 1v2ing some kids who are both higher gear score than me with this build. When you hit those crits, even if you don't hit those crits, the damage output is ridiculous from a couple of these spells. So let's go over which ones we're using. So travel ability first. I'm using the Veil of Illusion travel ability. You dash towards the input direction and elude nearby enemies for 2.2 seconds. Your next primary attack deals bonus damage and spawns an illusion, or you spawn an illusion that throws projectiles that deal part of your magic damage. Once again, we have pretty good magic damage, so that's why we're taking this. But the biggest reason I take this is because you can recast this to return to your starting position and spawn a new illusion. So let me show you what that looks like. You dash, and then during this timer, you can go, recast, and you're back here. If you act like you're running away from somebody, they're chasing you, you're trying to dodge, and you dash, they're chasing you, and then all of a sudden you're behind them, you can get in an easy free attack that will be very easy to land with this build. So I think that's why I have this on here. I think it's the best option if you're going single target, so you can really you can fake them out, and then you get a free chance to attack. Use your ability, whatever it is, to get that free damage in there. So next up, we have the Chaos Volley. The reason we're using this is pretty simple. You just launched 2 Chaos Bolts in a sequence that both deal 125% damage, magic damage, and inflict burn. The damage over time burn, super nice. The fact that it deals 125% damage apiece means if you hit both of these, that's 250% damage that you are hitting somebody for, which is a ridiculous amount. Obviously, this combined with the next ability are both relatively higher skill. Like, you have to be able to aim it and hit it. It's a pretty straight line, not a huge AoE for either of these, but when they hit hard. So if you get really good at hitting these abilities and leading them and making sure that you're always hitting, it's ridiculous. The second one is the Shadow Bolt. And you might be thinking, well, why the Shadow Bolt? So this one is a shadow projectile that deals 200% magic damage and inflicts a fading snare, which I believe weakens enemies' attacks for 1 second, which isn't a big deal. But the reason this is on here is because it deals 200% of your magic damage. I think it's, out of all the spells I have unlocked, it is the highest single target percentage-based damage out of all of them. I'm fairly certain. So it's pretty ridiculous how much damage it does when you hit with it. I believe at my current moment, and I think you see this in the clip I'm going to show you, it can crit for 170 damage right now, which is damn near half a health bar when one crit. And I'm at, 383 health. That's almost half my health bar in one hit, and I would be pissed about it. So that's why I have this in here. Once again, these are two just very high damage, high skill attacks that scale really, really well with your magic damage. As with your travel ability, it's to help you hit these a little bit easier. If you're behind an enemy and you get a little bit of a surprise 1 or 2 seconds before they're like, oh, he's behind me, it's much easier to hit those abilities and gives you a little bit of an advantage. Now, for the ultimate, I have messed around and used every single ultimate that I have unlocked so far, which is a lot. Still missing a few, but out of all the ones I have found, this one, the Mirror Strike ultimate ability, seems to be the most useful. So you dash forward and bounce between nearby enemies, striking them for a total of 600% magic damage split across your targets within the area of effect for 3 seconds. All of the targets are weakened, so they do less damage for 30% by 5 seconds. And after it ends, after the 3 seconds is over, you will dash towards the direction you are aiming, but you can recast to end it early. So why am I using Mirror Strike? Well, the versatility of this thing is absolutely mind-blowing. First and foremost, something to note about this ultimate ability, because it doesn't really explain it, is you have to hit the target or it will not go off. You'll see me in this 2v1 clip. I tried to use it as an escape mechanism because I had no intention of fighting these two, but I knew I couldn't get out, so I had to. But I tried to use this as an escape mechanism, as a dash. If you don't hit any target with it, there's no AoE effect. There's nothing. Nothing happens. So that's something of note here. You have to make sure you hit a target with it or it is not good. But once again, it's very versatile. So let's say you're doing this in a PvP. Let's say it's a 1v2, like the situation I was in. You don't get to see this because I tried to use it to escape. But if you hit one of the enemies, you'll hit them for damage. And then there's this big AoE circle that I'll demonstrate in a second that will do damage over 600% damage over 3 seconds. Now the damage is split. So if there's 2 enemies, each enemy will take 300% of your magic damage over 3 seconds. So that's about 100% damage a second. But it's also important that every target is weakened. So they're going to do 30% less damage to you for 5 seconds. It's a pretty big deal. But the other big thing is, once again, it's all about this movement, being able to surprise your enemies. You do this, and then whatever direction you are aiming with your cursor, you will dash that direction. The enemy can't see what direction well, most of them aren't going to be able to know what direction you're going to be dashing, so it can give you an additional chance to hit your R or your C ability and just get extra damage out there. Making it easier for you to hit your abilities is kind of the whole point of the travel and a big part of the ultimate as well. But let's say you go in and you're like, shit, I'm in trouble. You can recast to end it early. So if you recast the ability, boom, end it early. You can dash to any direction, try to get a little bit of cover, find a good spot to be, and you're golden. You're good. So that's why I have this ultimate out of all the ones I have unlocked. Once again, I don't have them all unlocked. I have a good chunk, but not all. So that's why I'm using these. I'll go give a quick demonstration here of this ultimate. There should be some wolves out here, I would guess, somewhere. Hello? Out front, perhaps? Okay, there's a deer. Oh dear. Hopefully I hit this. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's very similar to the C ability with the line. You line it up, you hit. This is the AoE, and then I'm aiming this direction, we dash. Whatever direction you're aiming with that cursor, you will dash in that direction. So that's why we're doing that. That's why I'm using all these abilities. I'm a big fan of the scythes, or the scythes for my physical weapon. Something like a crossbow is probably pretty good as well. I mean, whatever you're most comfortable with. I think the scythes E ability is the spinning is really, really good for damage output. If enemies are right on top of you, you just use it on you. The Q can back them off and let you hit some of your shots a little bit easier. I think the scythe is really useful, but I don't think the weapon is nearly as important. I recommend the scythe, whatever you're more comfortable with. But the next thing we're going to talk about, because this is one of the most important, if not maybe even the most important part of any build, is making sure you have the right kind of blood. So, right now I have rogue blood. That's not what you want. Crit strike on weapon attacks. We're not focused on our weapon attacks. We're focused on our spells and whatnot. So what blood do we want for our spells? Well, lucky for us, there is an extremely good blood type for a full spell build. And I'm going to go show you the best place to get that kind of blood. Guaranteed to get a good... You're usually guaranteed to get at least a 30% or higher every single time. And there's a lot of times a 60, 70, 80, 90 blood in this area. If you constantly check it, you will find really, really good blood for your build every single time. So we're going to go in that direction. This also happens to be a very good place to find quartz, which is a pretty important material around the middle. Oh my god. Around the middle of the game. We're going to wait for this to clear just a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but I don't want to get smoked too hard with my health. But there's a place right in this city here, and I'll show you where exactly we are on the map, where you can find a bunch of scholar blood. And scholar blood will give every single thing you need to be successful with a spell build. It is ridiculous how big of a buff it is. And I've said it multiple times now, but when I show you that clip of the 2v1, it'll really show you how big of a difference blood can make. Because without the blood that we had, we would have been in a much worse spot. Now I'm going to use this. I hit the tree. Wow. Okay. So we just got very lucky there, because I was about to say, well, this is what happens when you whiff. But we actually made contact with the tree right at the end. So we're actually in good shape. And we're almost through all these enemies, hopefully. I actually need this fish oil, so we'll snag all this stuff. Okay. Sorry, got a little distracted. So you go into this city, you go up these stairs, and once again, I'll show you on the map exactly where we are here. Right in the middle of Dunley Farmlands, this big city right here. You're going to have to clear out some enemies to get here, but you go into the city and you go up these steps, and you come up here. There's a few guards. Take those out. If you could take out the rest of the enemies, the guards should be no issue. And then almost that's a 33% scholar blood. Almost everybody else here is of scholar blood type. These enemies with the staff. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're actually kind of in trouble with the sun here. Hold on. Oh, no. The enemies with the staff will try to attack you and do whatever. However, some of the other enemies that are just there with the white cloaks, they will, oh, what the heck? They will actually not attack, and they will just sit there and keep praying to the statues or whatever it is that they are doing, which makes them free targets for pumping up your blood. Where's the other one? Oh, okay, there's a 20%. I really wanted to feed on the 33%, but kind of screwed the pooch. I'll try to feed on this 29, but oh, we crit. Okay, so I'll feed on this 21, or 23, I guess. That's going to kill. I have not gotten used to this spear doing so much damage yet. So we'll feed, but this isn't where it ends. You will have another big selection up top. So if you might get a bad batch like I kind of just did, then you can say, well, all right, I guess we'll check up here. I got 2 more guards to get through. Or a couple more guards, I guess. A little more than... Whoa. What do we have? 22? All right. Where are you going? Don't go in there. That's where I'm going. And then we go in here, and we can take our pickings between 5 more enemies. 15, 20, 18, 16, 22. Okay, so nothing too crazy. We don't have a really great batch here. Once again, this is something that... what the... oh, I didn't use the right ability. Okay. This is something that you can do on a daily basis before you go out on your hunting missions or whatever mission you're going out on. A boss killing mission, a mission to gather resources. You want to go take out a base. You want to go get revenge for somebody who just killed you. Whatever it is, you can come check this place, and very, very often you're going to find good blood, good scholar blood. Now, what do we get with scholar blood? Let me tell you. The first thing is you get increased spell power. Perfect. Second, you get reduced cooldown on spells. Grand. Third, you get spell life leech. Your spells will leech life. 5 to 10% of the damage they do. We're dealing a ton of damage. We are going to be restoring a lot of health. At tier 4, there's a 20% chance to instantly reset your spell cooldown. That's where it starts getting ridiculous. And if you happen to get a 100% pure blood scholar, then you boost all the effects by 30%. Imagine you have a full-blooded scholar, 50% of your spells are going to instantly reset. And you're going to have like 30% life leech, 45% cooldown, 55% increased spell power. Every single thing here positively helps your spells, directly impacts your damage output and your spells. So it is an extremely, extremely good thing to have. I would show it off, but I don't want to grief these kids who are like in their 40s. That would be, I didn't like when people did that to me. I'm not going to do that to other people. But regardless, that is the build I've been using, and I've been talking about this clip that I'm going to show you guys. We'll get to that. I'm going to show you guys this 2v1. But this has worked super well for me on PvP and on bosses. Once again, it's a very high single target damage build. So if a boss summons a lot of enemies, you know, if you need AoE for something, this is not going to get the job done. But like I said, I really do think it can hold its own when you're fighting 2, probably even 3 enemies at once. I mean, a 3v1 is already extremely difficult to win. There's not much that's going to help you. But I think this can hold its own against a 2v1 or a 3v1, even if you're under-leveled, as you'll see in this clip. But this is the overview of the build. You're going to want Scholar Blood, you're going to want these spells, and you're going to want the travel ability and ultimate that I talked about. I think it can help you, you know, beat some bosses that are higher level than you, beat some players, beat when you're outnumbered. A lot of good things that this build can do. So take a look at this clip, and that's going to be where the video ends. So thank you guys so much for the support. As always, let me know what you think of the build down below. I'm sure tons of you will have different builds that are just as good, if not better. So let other people know down below in the comments. But thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy this clip of the 2v1. It was pretty fun. It was a fun clip. But regardless, thank you guys so much for the support. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day. I love each and every one of your faces, and I will catch you all in the next video. Please don't. Please. Dude, why? Why? We tied the fight. Are you serious?